Hello my children and welcome back to Magick Kool-Aid. Now you're probably asking yourself, what kind of kooky freak show am I going to present to you next? Well, the answer is that it is somebody new, but she also knows somebody that we have met before. Her name is Christina Martine, and she does know Unicole Unicron, the leader of Unicult. And we're not done with you, Unicole, but I'm going to lay off of you tonight. So, we're going to focus on this video by Christina Martine called You Are Enough Now. And I will tell you guys, I'm getting some heavy pings on my shamandar. I suspect that Christina Martine may in fact be a shaman, just like myself and Patrick John Coleman. Let's take a brief look at her channel here. She even has purple hair like Patrick John Coleman. I would say she's not quite as wonked out as him, but maybe just as crazy. Her videos, You Are Enough Now, which we're going to watch, but also Live in Abundance, Stop Worrying. Yes, stop worrying about things and your life will become very abundant. How does astrology help people? Using astrology to know thyself, service to self or creator. You're the creator. Narcissist within the spiritual community, letting go of ego. Manifest your dream lover. Oh, Christina interviews shamanic astrologer Gemini Brett. Oh, another shaman. Anyway, you can see what kind of person she is. Very new age, very spiritual, probably totally full of herself. Let's see what she has to say, guys. You are enough now. That's her message for us, which I'm assuming means that no matter what kind of person you already are, it's enough. No. No. I will not.
Hello, Soul Family. Thank you for joining me, Christina Martine here. So today I wanted to talk to you about how we have this desire, we have these drives.
Number one, the music in the background is very distracting. Turn it down, because I'm more focused on that than I am on what you're saying, and that's not good.
To do good things in the world, to obtain knowledge, and I know that I really fall into this category of someone just with this voracious appetite to know and to become and to have all the answers. I find myself going, oh, I have to study all these different practices and understand magic and understand all these different shamanic meditations so I can...
It's great that you have this drive to understand things and to get knowledge, but it's strange that somebody so immersed in this knowledge of spiritualism and shamanism, someone who has become completely immersed in it, such as yourself, hasn't realized how truly shallow and full of shit it is. Now, I'm a shaman, as I've stated before, and I'll tell you the biggest secret of shamanism, okay, guys? We're making this crap up. It's not real. So if you want to spend hours, days, weeks, months, years of your life devoted to studying all of this abstraction that can never be proven to be true, then be my guest. But it doesn't actually make you someone who's more spiritual. It makes you someone who's more full of shit, okay?
So I can be the best, so I can help people, so I can have all this knowledge. But it's like, I really want to remind you, and this was channeled to me yesterday, I was channeling so much information yesterday. I just want to remind you, and I'm so excited, that no matter what kind of insight you're bringing in,
here we go. Here's the
it's
kicker.
Valid. And
yeah, guys, no matter what kind of insight you're bringing in all of your channeling sessions, it's valid. So for instance, if you have a baby and you're carrying the baby and you get an insight like, throw that baby on its head. That's a valid insight, guys. And let's say you're in the car and you're drunk and you're like, should I turn this car on and drive? I can't. And then you get a thought in your head and the thought says, don't worry about it. You're probably not going to kill anybody. It's no big deal. You'll be fine. That is also a valid insight, okay? And I find it interesting that you share a similar approach to life as Unicole Unicron. You don't believe in insanity. You don't seem to believe in destructive thoughts. Apparently all insights are in fact valid and come from a valid source. It's like it's impossible for people to actually create the voices in their head themselves. but I'm getting ahead
It's
of
from
myself.
the same source, no matter how far the aperture.
It can't all be from the same source if the different insights you get contradict each other, okay? And surely you realize this contradiction. Surely you realize that all of your thoughts cannot all be valid when many of them contradict each other. Are you telling me you do not have contradictory thoughts? Because it seems like every person on the face of the planet would have contradictory thoughts. That's the way the brain works, okay?
Opens, how wide the aperture opens, you're looking into the same source. So that's why I called my community Intersatoria. You know, we've all had this glimpse into enlightenment, into the truth of our beings, of the fact that we are eternal, these Satori moments. And it doesn't matter if the aperture closes once again and we fall back into the normal state of consciousness. The light is always with us. The source is always within us. God is always with us.
I don't understand. You've done all of this studying. You've studied shamanism. You've devoted immense amounts of time to studying all of this. And your conclusion is the same as every other religious person on the face of the planet. You have contributed nothing with all of your studies. What you have said is simply a fact that most people either acknowledge or don't without even having to study. This idea that God is always within us, how is it that you've spent so much time to come to this conclusion? I don't understand. It's such a basic, simple conclusion. And your premise is also incorrect. Not all thoughts come from the source, as you say. There is such a thing as self-destructive thoughts, you know. There are people who go out and murder others because of the voices they hear in their head, or just people who prey on others for whatever reason. You do realize how completely irresponsible it is for you to say that people who feel as though they're having spiritual thoughts are all validated, right? It's not a safe thing to be telling people who might be on the verge of mental illness or already over the edge.
So, I'm here
I know you want to spread love and light, but you're actually just corrupting
to remind
people.
you today that if you feel this longing to become something, you have to understand that you are already that. You are that.
No, you're not. You are not whatever your longing to become is. I long to be one of the most well-known, greatest writers in human history. But my longing doesn't make me that, okay? My longing doesn't make me the leader of a revolution. My longing doesn't make my dick 2 inches longer. And it shouldn't be, it's already too big, so I don't actually have that longing. Longing doesn't mean anything. It's actions that back up your words. It's actions that validate you. You are not validated by the thoughts in your head. And if you are one of those people who believe that, then you are just a lazy person who cannot contribute to society in any way. You're not contributing simply by being, okay?
Tatvam Asi. I am that. It's a wonderful mantra that I like to repeat. Tatvam Asi. I am that.
I'm not gonna remember
I am
that.
the knowledge I'm seeking. I am the wisdom I'm seeking.
No. Okay, some shamanic advice here. You are not the knowledge you are seeking. You are simply the interpreter of knowledge that you gain by seeking it. The knowledge is not all within yourself. We do live in a physical reality where there is chemistry, okay? There are actual particles and molecules and atoms and blah, blah, blah floating around that affect one another that are not affected by you. This is the ultimate narcissism, to believe that you are in fact God yourself, which seems to be what people like you end up believing. You're not God. You may be a part of God if you choose to believe in God, but you do not control reality. Therefore, what knowledge you have within yourself is not true. I can take any two people and find contradictions of the knowledge within themselves. Are they both validated? You know they're not. You know that what you are doing is feeding people spoonfuls of poisonous sugar, okay? It tastes good going down, and then it starts working its way into your body once it's down there in your tummy, dissolving in your stomach acid, all right? You're poisoning people, but they don't realize it. This is very unhealthy and very dangerous to spread this kind of thinking to people who are mentally ill. I've said it and I'll say it again.
Am a manifestation of God. I am walking around in the
You're
mind
not.
of God.
You are yourself. Stop projecting that you are some greater thing than what you are. That is denying reality. You are only as great as you make yourself. Saying you're great and padding your assertion with a bunch of happy, crappy bullshit does not make you great. Your actions will make you great, not your words.
Any kind of knowledge that I want to obtain is within me. And
it's
we
not
have
within
the
you. What is the creation of the universe? You can say you have the knowledge of how that occurred within your head, but you have no idea. So how can you claim to have knowledge that you cannot corroborate with any evidence? That's not knowledge. That's a theory. That's an assertion. It is not knowledge, and stop claiming that it is.
Open ourselves up to the highest source of love and light at any moment simply by...
Oh my God, such propaganda.
By remaining
Do you believe
present,
it yourself?
Clearing our spiritual channels and allowing light to flow. We have the same ability to communicate to spirit as any other wise sage or shaman. Do not be fooled by...
When you look at the idea of a shaman or a wise sage, you can think one of two things. You can either think, this person is full of crap and nobody has these powers, which to me seems the most logical thing to think. Or you can think everybody has the powers of the shaman, except there's no evidence that shamans have any powers. I've already asserted, I'm a shaman, I don't have any powers, okay? So you are right in the sense that yes, we are all shamans. But what that means is that shaman has no meaning, okay? Anybody can pretend to be a shaman. Anyone can pretend to be a wise sage. But it doesn't actually make it true.
People who tell you, oh, you have to go and spend years in the jungle learning how to do specific traditional meditations in order to have your ideas be valid. No.
It's also funny that there are people who actually do go through things to consider themselves validated in this knowledge of being a shaman, and you go, I don't have to do all that. I already know the truth. Therefore, I'm a shaman too. Give me a break. How insulting to people who actually do things!
That is a thing of the past. And while yes, it is wonderful to pay respect, to venerate wise teachers, and to hold on to traditions. I am a very traditional person, and I pay
You look very traditional, and you sound very traditional.
Their practices. But I find when teachers teach me things, I'm like, well, okay, I've been doing that for years, intuitively.
Oh, okay. You're such an old soul, using your intuition to know all of the sacred teachings. No one should try to teach you anything because you already have all the answers.
All have lived so many lives.
You should buy one of these and
we
put it
have
on.
all lived lives probably on the earth where we have been, doing all these...
We have all lived lives probably on the earth. If you're on the earth and you're watching this video, then yeah, you've lived a life on the planet Earth. In fact, I would venture to say that everyone watching your video has lived a life on the planet Earth.
Ancient spiritual practices, and that's why if we feel called to do them again, it's like, well, we've done them before. The knowledge is contained within you. And so while, yes, it is amazing to have spiritual teachers and guides, the true guide, the true teacher, is within your own very heart.
You're your own teacher, guys, even though that completely invalidates the entire definition of teacher, even though it completely invalidates the concept of learning anything from anyone, all the answers are already within you. And I can't wear this anymore. But I do wonder, if I ask you a question about an extremely detailed calculus problem, is the answer within you? Can you determine that answer by yourself without any assistance whatsoever? And if I were to ask you a detailed question about quantum physics, would you also be able to answer that question in a believable way without resorting to spiritual mumbo-jumbo? I think not. So I'm going to say some nice things about you, give you some good advice, and we're going to move along. One nice thing. I love your video. Very nice framing. And you know what? You seem nice. You have a nice personality. You're just full of crap. That's your problem. So... Also, you're very pretty. So there you go. There's another nice thing I said about you. Now, here's some good advice. I won't tell you to delete your channel, but what I will tell you to do is to shape up and stop lying about how you already know everything. You clearly don't know everything. You don't even know how ridiculous you sound right now. So just shape up and try harder. My advice to you. All right? So we're going to move on to our next video, guys. And I'll see you on the other side of this segment, okay?